Hi guys, so today we are going to talk about data visualization tools in Python. We'll mostly talk about Lux, we'll talk about all the stages of ML and where this EDA part comes into picture in whole ML pipeline. And then we'll give a quick start how to install Lux, and we'll take one of the example, and we'll talk about more into what are the features of Lux and how it is different from all the different EDA tools, EDA automotive tools which are already in the market from a long time. Let's quickly visit Lex GitHub, and here you can see Lux is already having a very good rating, and there are 173 folks, and the latest version is 0.2.3, has been released on Feb 17th. And if we scroll down, we can see a Lux logo and their tagline, a Python API for intelligent visual discovery. And here they are talking about like how easy it is to get a very good visual understanding or insight of the data. There is 1 minute video introducing Lux. There are slides, so you guys can go through it. And then let's try the live Jupyter notebook, which is here, and we'll see the basics of like what kind of Jupyter notebook they have mentioned. Here you can see the project structure, you can see the license, readme file, and yeah. So here it is. In the demo, they have taken a data of IBM HR employee attrition dataset. Let's talk about what kind of things they have mentioned here. So they are loading the dataset, and the good part is like the moment they are running this particular cell, right? So it basically gives you a visualization, and then there is a thing called intent, and they are basically providing attrition column, which is the target variable in this particular data set, into intent, and they are also seeing visualization in terms of attrition. So we'll also talk about it in terms of Titanic data set. We'll see that, and there are a lot of things which they have mentioned, so we'll try to replicate all these experiments in the Titanic data set, and we'll try to cover almost everything. So yeah, so we'll be focusing on exploratory data analysis today in this session, and we'll see like how Lux can help us in this EDA part. So let's have a quick start. Okay. So to install Lux, we will use pip install Lux API, and those who wants to install it through Conda environment, they can simply go to the terminal and basically they can install it. But for installation in the Conda environment, there is a little different format, so you can use this syntax which is already provided in the GitHub Lux. Apart from that, there are two things which you have to do. So you have to install also the NB extension for Lux widget, and you have to basically enable that extension. So you have to use these two lines also, and I have done here, as you can see, right? And next what we'll do is we'll load the dataset. As you can see, I have used Titanic, and before loading this dataset, make sure that you execute the import Lux. Why I tell you, because this data frame is a Lux based data frame, it is not a normal data frame, and I'll tell you why. So once you execute this cell and once you execute this data frame, right, you will see, yeah, so here you can see that not only you are able to see the data frame, but you are also able to see the toggle pandas Lux. Okay, and the moment you will click on this toggle button, you will see the visualizations. Okay, so before going into these visualizations, let's clear the fact that why I told you like this data frame is a Lux data frame. So let's say, for example, before showing this visualization, before executing this cell, right, if let's say I load the data frame and then I want to do df.info, or for your example you can also check describe, df.describe, but here, okay, so you have called df.info before before having this visualization. Now if I call this, or now if I rerun this, so you see you are not able to see the toggle button again, right? So now it's more of a like normal visualization which you can see of the data frame, right? So again, like if I have to get back and get the Lux based data frame, what I have to do is I have to basically run this whole thing again, right? So though I don't have to install it, but maybe I have to enable the extension. Yeah, so it is validating okay, and then basically I'll run this data frame, and again I cannot do any kind of changes on this data frame, because this data frame is a lux based data frame, so I have to comment it out. And then if I show you, okay, yeah, so this is what, so just for the sake of a simple example, I have done df.info, but the main intention of me telling you this is like you can't do any kind of operation on this data frame if you want this toggle button to get the visualization, right? Okay, yeah, so this is the visualization which you can see once you run the df. And the good part is like you don't have to create any kind of object of lux, unlike there are some other tools for which you have to create the object, and then you have to pass the data frame object in that visualization tool method, which we have seen in a different tool, but we'll get back to that. But here, as you can see, there is a correlation between fare and age. And if you remember in the Titanic, right, so there are so many columns. There was survived, there was fare, age, and then parch, and then PC class. There are a lot of columns. We'll see that one by one, but let's see. So here you can see fare and age correlation, and then basically if you click on distribution, you can see all the distributions as per the number of records. So these are binned. Age is also binned. So basically from 1 to 10 there will be one bin, from 10 to 20 there will be a second bin, something similar to that. And then you see the occurrence pan. So in this occurrence pan, the good thing is you'll get a basic idea like how many records are there which are different. So let's say for example in Mbart, so Southampton had the most number of records, so you can make out like, okay, so most of the passengers were from Southampton, and the lowest was from Q. I don't remember exactly what was the name of the city of Q, but S is for Southampton. I I remember it. So again, like it's a very good visualization tool where you can get a lot of basic things here in the occurrence, right? So let's say in PC class also. So with this particular graph you can make out like most of the people or passenger in Titanic were from PC class 3, and I believe, if I'm not wrong, PC class 3 were the cheapest seats, and the most expensive seats were belonging from PC class. So we'll see that also in this session. We'll get into that. And obviously you can see the sex ratio where most of the passengers were male, and you can also see the numbers, right? And unfortunately a lot of people had died. So if we take only this data set, as per this data set, 549 were died, and 342 were survived. Though basically I just wanted to clear out that we have not done any kind of cleaning part, or we have not removed the none values. So the numbers which I'm showing is raw numbers. It might happen that if we do all this cleaning and those kind of things, so the numbers might change. So but just for the sake of showing you guys this thing, the next thing what we can do is intent. So this is the best part I liked in Lux, where like you can focus your analysis towards a particular feature or column. So here in this prompt statement, survived is the column which is having a more weightage, because we are somehow predicting like who all survived, who all died. So we'll run this and we'll see what happens next. Okay, it is still loading. Yeah, so it is loaded. Let's see what else we have in this focused analysis. Yeah, so as you can see, it is a little bit different than the basic visualization. In the basic visualization we had fare versus age, and then we were getting all these things in general, right? But when we have converted our analysis into a focused one feature analysis, we can see all these graphs just on the basis of survived. So number of records survived. So we have seen this thing here also, right? So if we go, yeah, here, see, this is I believe this is the same graph here, right? And here you can see all the graphs which are mainly focused on survive, mean fair, mean age, number of records survived. So here just a quick note. So as you can as you guys, like whoever have worked on this Titanic dataset, right, they know like the most number of males died was far more than the number of females, as you can see. So survived equals to 0, and orange is male, blue is female, and here also like survived numbers are more for female than males. Yeah, so these are the very good insights which you don't have to plot. You can simply, you can see it just you have to write this particular line of code and you will get so many good useful insights, right? So a lot of insights are there, a lot of things which are good and which we can take from this particular analysis. Okay, so next is, yeah, so next is, let's get more insight between age and survived. So the intention here is to show you guys like how you can take advantage of lux, right? So I'm thinking from a perspective that, let's say for example, a person who is learning, right? I mean, who has given this data set and he has to get some kind of insight out of it, and in a very short time. So having lex, how that can be done is the whole intention here in this session. Again, so now before our focus was only survived. Now what we want to see, and what is the insight between age and survived. Okay, so you see a lot of graphs are there. Let's see if we can take some and get some insight. So let's see this one. Okay, so here we have fair, we have age, and we have survived. So there are three things which has come under the enhancement. And by the way, I'll tell you what is enhance. So enhance, what it does is it recommends you all the good insights which Lux thinks is important for this particular data set, right? So Lux by itself has recommended this particular combination, and Lux thinks like, okay, this could be a very valuable insight. And it is actually a very valuable insight, because if you see here, right, so this is fair in the y-axis and all the oranges are the survived ones, right? So you can say that those who have paid more, or who have I don't know how to say that, but maybe who were belong from a high society, or who were rich, they had a very high chances of living or survive. And those who were poor, or who were taken the the cheap seats, they were actually had a very less chance of survival, you can see. And obviously there are outliers, but those outliers had paid 512 and they actually survived. So these are the I think these are the VIPs. I don't know, but yeah, so there are a lot of things which are quite handy and which are very useful. And you can see filter also. So in the filter you have more focused analysis, where you have mean of age, and you have sex equals to female, and you have also where survived, and for patch, for PC class, for sex, for so a lot of things are given here. And then if we click on generalize, so generalize is basically a journal kind of intuition you will get. And by the way, it is bind age. Okay, so let's go and see one more thing. So one more good thing which I found here is like you can also export one of the graphs. Okay, so let's say for example, if you want to get this particular graph and you want to export it, so what you have to do is you have to just select those graphs which you want to export. Let's say for example, I have selected this, and then basically if you click on export, the moment you export, it wraps up that exported graph in, and then basically you can save it in one of the variables. As you can see, with df.exported, I can get this particular graph here, and then basically I can use it here. So here you can see, like I've taken this graph here. It's quite handy, it's very good. and then basically there are some other things which I want to show here. So the other good thing is like you can get these graphs and then you can convert it into Altair. So Altair is also one of the package in Python. It is similar to Matplotlib and Seaborn. So you get a nice code part here, code snippet of this particular graph. So if you are working on Altair project or a project where you have used Altair, so you can just copy this whole code snippet and write it down. You will get this particular graph there. And then basically there is one more feature which basically impressed me a lot is this visualization. Okay, so in this visualization we can see that embarked equals to S is the Southampton city, and then we are also seeing the survived thing. So we are basically checking like, okay, for this particular embarked, how many people have survived, right? So you can see the numbers, 427 number of records or people who have died, and then basically 217 were survived. But the good part here is, so let's say for example that you want to, so instead of having a single analysis, you want to do an analysis on the whole, on the whole feature. So what you can do is you can pass on the question mark, right, in front of embarked, and then you are passing survived. So you are basically trying to get the survived analysis on the basis of embarked, right? So once you write this, and you will get a very good analysis where from Southampton you have already seen this particular graph, and then from embarked equals to C you are getting this, from embarked equals to Q you are getting this, and so on and so forth. So you might get a lot of analysis on the basis of a particular set of feature. So I think that's all. I hope like I have covered most of them, and yeah, I think it is useful for doing the visualization. And yeah, so that's it guys. Let's get to the comparison, and what we'll do is we'll compare this particular Lux tool, visualization tool, with all the other tools which are already available. Few of them are available from a long time. So let's say for example Pandas Profiling was there from a long time, and there are a lot of other visualization tools which are recently introduced in the market. So we'll also compare those, and yeah, so let's get back to the comparison. So here you can see the comparison table, and I have taken 5 more visualization tools with Lux, Pandas Profiling, Bamboolib, AutoViz, SweetViz, and Dtale. And on the left we can see all the factors which has been taken into consideration while doing the comparison. So installation was fairly simple, all are using pip install. HTML support, I would say we don't have a full-fledged HTML support for Lux. We can definitely get one of the output graphs from the whole visualization, but we cannot export the whole analysis or export the whole report into HTML, which we can do for the Pandas profiling. We can't do it for Bamboolib. For like the reasons are quite same. So in this Bamboolib we can also do the HTML, but that is also a part of HTML from the whole analysis, but not the whole report we can generate in HTML. AutoViz and SweetViz and Dtale are having export option where you can export the whole visualization analysis into HTML. When we talk about compare dataset, so you can see in most of the options are no. SweetViz gives you an option of comparing datasets. So let's say for example you have multiple datasets and you want to compare all those multiple datasets and see what are the differences between those two datasets. So for example, let's say for example I have I have January dataset, I have February dataset, and I know like the schema or the number of columns are actually same. So you can do some kind of comparison between those two files and get some kind of insight. So that is only available in SweetViz for the time being. Next is target variable analysis. Lux has target variable analysis. So what I mean when I'm saying target variable is like whether we can focus on a particular feature, right? So we have seen previously that in Lux we used survived feature as an intent, and we did the focused survived based analysis, right? So we cannot do that for Pandas profiling and Bamboolib. We can do that in AutoViz and SweetViz, but that is not available in Dtale. When we talk about open source, So I would say all of them are open source, but Bamboolib is only coming for trial version for 10 days, and after that you have to pay for it. We'll continue on the comparison. And as you can see, like I did not get chance to go through each and every visualization tools for checking whether all these visualization tools support large data sets or not. So once I'll do that, I'll share it. And the same goes for memory usage. So I'll definitely come again with these informations. One line code is nothing but like how we are generating all these reports, right? So we have seen in Lux that we don't have to create any object of Lux and provide this data frame into that particular function. So it is self-sufficient. So once you load the data frame, you can simply execute the cell and you get the visualization of it. But for Pandas profiling, we first create the object and then we pass the data frame into the profile report. And you can see like all these things, right? I mean, in all these visualization tools, you are creating a object and you are basically passing the data frames. The only thing which is different in AutoViz is you don't have to create the data frames, and you don't have to upload it. You can simply give the file name or file path, and you can get a visualization out of it. Manipulation is one thing which I felt is very much important to include in our comparison. So what I meant when I'm saying manipulation is like, once you load the visualization tool, are you able to manipulate or make changes on the data frame? So in the sense like, can you able to change the column name, or can you make any kind of modifications on the column? So let's say, for example, if I want to create a column on the fly, so can I do that using the visualization tool? So Lux don't have that. Even in that case, Pandas profiling is not having that. Bamboolib has it, and even like Dtale is having this particular feature where you can upload it and do the on-the-fly manipulation. So I guess, guys, like that's it, and I'll make sure that I'll add few more points or factors in this comparison going forward. For the time being, let's keep it short, and I hope like you guys have enjoyed the video. And if you guys have enjoyed it, please don't forget to like the video, please give a thumbs up and subscribe it, and also press the bell button so that you get a lot of things which are coming up in the future. And because it's a new channel, so I'll make sure that I'll keep you guys engaged with all these informative videos. Thanks a lot.